Beneath the veneer of skepticism, reality bears witness to chilling truths. In the haunting corridors of history, where shadows dance with undeniable evidence, remember this, the stories are true. Prepare for a revelation. Where the supernatural is stripped of fiction, and the unknown is laid bare, are you ready to confront the undeniable? The stories are true, and the echoes of reality await.
Once upon a time, there was this simple children's toy, right? But it wasn't just any ordinary toy. It had a bit of a mysterious twist. Flashback to the late 1800s, and you've got the birth of the Ouija board. Imagine this. A novelty shop in Pittsburgh luring folks in with the wonderful talking board, promising it to be the most interesting and mysterious thing of the century. Spoiler alert, it kind of was. The ad hype was no joke. The Ouija board became a sensation, claiming to bridge the gap between the living and the dead. People were hooked, some even thinking the dearly departed were influencing them to cough up their hard-earned cash. The craze took off, with detectives trying to solve crimes, murderers blaming the board for their deeds, and religious groups shaking their fists at these tools of Satan. Fast forward to 1913, and we've got Pearl Curran, a regular housewife from Illinois, reluctantly sitting at a neighbor's Ouija board. This high school dropout had never penned anything beyond addressing envelopes. But then, cue the spooky music, the planchette starts doing its thing, and Patience Worth introduces herself from across the sea, claiming she died in 1694 in America. She was an English writer with tales to share. For the next 2 decades, Pearl and Patience teamed up on a writing spree. 88 works in 1 year, talk about productive. They ditched the Ouija board eventually. Pearl found herself immersed in the stories like a kid in a magical picture book, just dictating away. Now, Pearl's life didn't become a fairy tale. Financial struggles, failed marriages, the whole shebang. But Patience stuck with her till the end. Apparently, Patience even gave Pearl a heads up about the end of the road, and soon after, pneumonia took Pearl away. And there you have it, the tale of a seemingly innocent children's toy that ended up delivering on its promise to answer questions about the future with marvelous accuracy. Who knew a board with letters and a planchette could stir up so much drama?
And now for another one.
In the heart of Tennessee, 1817, a humble farmhouse nestled amongst the rolling hills became the epicenter of a chilling tale. The Bell family at first brushed off the strange gnawing sounds that echoed within their walls as a mere rodent infestation. Yet as the days turned into weeks, the sounds grew louder, more persistent, and uncannily human. One day, John Bell Sr. spotted a creature that defied logic, a dog with a rabbit's head. Then, a mysterious bird too large to be native perched ominously nearby. As if these sightings weren't bizarre enough, a young girl dressed in green appeared, only to vanish into thin air. The enigma deepened. Bedsheets began to move of their own accord, and John Sr.'s mouth froze, paralyzed. The children weren't spared either. They woke up with scratches, and poor Betsy, the Bell's only daughter, was subjected to invisible slaps and pinpricks. The source of this torment was dubbed the Bell Witch. In desperation, the Bells and their neighbors, the Johnsons, held a prayer session. Instead of providing solace, the session intensified the terror. Sheets levitated, chairs flipped upside down, and the witch, now named Kate, claimed to be a disturbed spirit looking for resolution. While Kate sometimes showed a polite disposition, particularly towards Lucy Bell, she also had a dark side. When Betsy began her courtship, the witch turned violent. Betsy was choked and slapped, her torment punctuated by the haunting sound of a woman's laughter. The only relief came when Betsy was sent away. Even President Andrew Jackson dared to visit the haunted farmhouse, only to be stopped in his tracks by Kate herself. The climax of this terror came when John Bell Sr. was found poisoned. Kate brazenly admitted her responsibility for the deed. Within weeks, John Sr. was no more. In 1821, Kate pledged to return in 7 years. True to her word, she did in 1828, but her presence was brief and less powerful, and she never returned again. People have speculated that the manifestations were poltergeists, possibly linked to Betsy's pubescence. However, the truth remains shrouded in mystery. What is certain is that the Bell family and their community were profoundly affected by the haunting. Their belief in the supernatural cemented. a belief shared by none other than President Jackson himself. Thus ends the tale of the Bell Witch, a story that continues to echo through the annals of paranormal history, a chilling reminder that sometimes the unseen can be the most terrifying of all.
And now for another one.
The tale of the Uniondale Ghost is a chilling narrative that has seeped into the crevices of South African lore. It's a saga that begins on a tragic Good Friday in 1968, where a young woman named Maria Charlotte Rue met her untimely end on the desolate N9 highway between Willowmore and Uniondale. She was just 22, a bride-to-be, traveling with her fiancé Gilles when a sudden gust of wind sent their Volkswagen rolling. Tragically, Maria didn't survive. A year later, Gilles moved on, marrying another woman. Was it this act that stirred Maria's spirit into the realm of the living? A question we may never find the answer to. But what we do know is that on Good Friday, 1976, 8 years after Maria's death, a man named Anton Lagrange picked up a hitchhiker on the very same stretch of highway. She was beautiful, gave an address, then vanished into thin air. When Lagrange later heard an eerie laugh or scream in his car, he reported it to the local police. Sergeant Potgieter, who'd been on the force when Maria died, connected the dots. The address the hitchhiker gave was Maria's parents' home. The face Lagrange described was Maria's. The chilling encounters didn't stop there. In 1980, a motorcyclist felt ghostly arms wrap around his waist on the same highway. When he looked down, he saw a woman's hands gripping him tightly. They disappeared as suddenly as they appeared, leaving him with nothing but a chilling memory. The spectral hitchhiker was reportedly seen several more times, always heading to the same address on Porter Street. Her last sighting was in 1984, the same year that Maria's ex-fiancé Gilles tragically died in a car accident. The Uniondale Ghost is a tale of love, loss, and lingering spirits. It's a chilling saga that echoes along the desolate N9 highway. Is Maria still out there, hitchhiking her way home? Or has she finally found peace? The question hangs in the air, as tangible and as elusive as the Uniondale Ghost herself.
And now for another one.
Hey there! So, check this out. The Chelsea Hotel in New York is like a celebrity hotspot, but not the glamorous kind. You've got legends like Leonard Cohen, Janis Joplin, and even Sid Vicious with his wild and not-so-happy antics. It's basically a rock and roll history book. Now get this spooky story. Back in 2009, there's this guest, Anna, staying at the Chelsea. She's already on edge from weird sounds and footsteps, and then, bam! On the third night, she wakes up to a head floating in front of her mirror. And get this, it's the ghost of Dylan Thomas, the Welsh poet, looking all bug-eyed and creepy. Anna's like, I saw a head in midair, grimacing at me with ear-length, tightly coiled black hair. She even says he had theatrical face paint and lipstick on. Creepy, right? But here's the twist. Dylan Thomas apparently stayed at the Chelsea in 1953 during his tour of the US. Legend has it he went on a legendary drinking spree, 18 whiskeys, and, well, didn't make it through the night. Classic poet move, right? Now, Thomas's ghost isn't new to the scene. People say he visits the White Horse Tavern too, where he went on that epic drinking binge. They even petitioned against renovating the place, fearing his ghost wouldn't come back. Spoiler alert, renovations happened, and the ghost returned for the drinks. The hotel, though, is throwing some shade at Anna's story, saying, nah, Dylan haunts room 205, not 114. Ghost drama, my friend. So, even in the afterlife, poets know how to keep things interesting.
And now for another one.
Check out this fascinating slice of American history. This charming three-bedroom farmhouse in Villisca, Iowa, exudes a classic dollhouse vibe with its white clapboard walls, a cute gabled roof, and an inviting porch. But wait, hold on to your hat because there's an unexpected twist. In 1994, a pair of visionaries, Darwin and Martha Lynn, caught sight of this gem and were filled with aspirations of transforming it into a museum. Their aim, to provide a glimpse into the early 20th century lifestyle. However, the estate agent may have conveniently glossed over a key piece of information, a sign prominently displayed in the front yard that reveals the Villisca Ax Murder House, June 10, 1912. The scoop is this. On the night of June 9, 1912, the Moore family and two friends were enjoying a Children's Day service at their local church. By the next day, however, they had mysteriously disappeared. Their concerned neighbor, Mary Peckham, decided to investigate, and what she encountered was bone-chilling. The entire Moore family, along with their two friends, had met a brutal end at the hands of Josiah's axe. The crime scene painted a terrifying picture, with covered mirrors, hidden faces of the victims, and a bowl filled with bloody water, hinting at the killer's cleanup routine after the horrific act. Next, we turn our attention towards the suspects. Reverend George Kelly, who was later committed to a mental institution, and Paul Muller, an immigrant from Germany with a notorious history of serial killings, were amongst those investigated. Despite intense scrutiny by law enforcement, the identity of the killer remained a mystery. So, the Lynns, after unearthing the grim past of the house, decided against making it into a museum. The house has since then been transformed into a hotspot for people with a taste for the supernatural. Inexplicable phenomena have been reported, including eerie laughter, chilling screams, and peculiar fog appearing mysteriously. The Lynns thought, why not reinvent it as a hotel? And just like that, the infamous Villisca Ax Murder House became a hotel, ready for reservations. Martha will hand you the keys, leaving you to explore at your leisure. Hold on tight, the story takes a stranger turn. There have been reports of guests experiencing possession. In the year 2014, an individual named Robert Stephen Lawson Jr. came dangerously close to losing his life after he stabbed himself in the chest during a recreational paranormal investigation. His reasons behind such an act remain a mystery to this day. Intrigued? Well, you can secure your slot online or give them a call. Have pleasant dreams.
And now for another one.
Ever heard of hungry ghosts? Well, in China, they're more than just a tall tale. Picture this. Our ancestors, we're told, linger long after their earthly departure. Each soul split in two, one ascending to the heavens, the other remaining earthbound. Neglect the due rituals,
and now for another one.
And your ancestors may well join the ranks of the so-called hungry ghosts. Hungry ghosts, as the legend goes, are eternally famished due to their families' neglect of their afterlife meals. Rumors tell of their long, thin necks, a direct result of their constant hunger. To appease these spectral beings, families offer meals and prayers. Some even go as far as to burn banknotes, cars, and occasionally the ghosts themselves. Succeed and you're granted a year free from ghostly interference. But not all ghosts are keen on this haunting business. Some prefer a more subtle approach. Take, for instance, the tale of the last bus. The year is 1995. You're aboard the last bus to Fragrant Hills, an eerily empty vehicle with just you, the driver, the conductor, and a granny who's lived through countless seasons. The scene becomes more curious when the driver picks up two men, dressed as though they've stepped straight out of the Ming Dynasty, and they're carrying a third man, a rocker with an impressive mane of hair. Suddenly, the granny accuses you of stealing her wallet. Amid the ensuing drama, the driver asks you to leave the bus. Left on the roadside, you question the granny's sanity, only to be told that the two men had no legs. Ghosts, she claims, not men. The following day, the bus is discovered 4 miles shy of its destination. Inside are the driver, the conductor, and the rocker ghost, all frozen in their final moments. A chilling tale, to be sure. And the moral? When ghosts board your bus, it's best not to cross them, lest you end up on an unplanned ghost tour.
And now for another one.
Hey, have you ever heard of the HMS Eurydice? Man, naming ships can be a real gamble. Take the Titanic or the Mary Celeste, for example, names that now send shivers down your spine. But naming a boat after Eurydice, the Greek gal doomed to spend eternity in the underworld? That's like asking for trouble. So back in 1878, this ship set sail from the West Indies to Portsmouth, England, with 319 souls on board. Now, did any of them know the tragic tale of Orpheus and Eurydice? Who knows? But they sure ended up immortalized in a poem called The Loss of the Eurydice by Gerard Manley Hopkins. As they approach home, a snowstorm hits, and for some mysterious reason, the Eurydice is sailing with gun ports wide open. Suddenly it vanishes in the blizzard. Most of the crew freezes or gets sucked down with the ship. Even the captain, Marcus Hare, reportedly went down praying. Talk about a chilling scenario, huh? Now here's where things get ghostly. Some claim to have seen the Eurydice sailing those same waters it vanished in. Even a Royal Navy submarine commander, F. Lipscomb, reported swerving to avoid it in the 30s. And in 97, Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, says he saw it with 3 sails billowing. So what's the verdict? Are 314 souls still out there with Captain Hare, or is it just sailor yarns? And get this, after the Eurydice, they brought in the HMS Atalanta, named after a protective goddess. But guess what? 2 years later it sinks too, taking 311 lives. And it's never been seen again. Spooky, right? Makes you wonder if ship names are cursed or if the sea's just playing tricks on us, doesn't it?
And now for another one.
Hey, have you ever been to Young and Jackson's bar in Melbourne? It's this awesome spot right across from the main train station. You can't miss it. It's been there forever, and it's famous for this painting called Chloe by a French artist named Jules-Joseph Lefebvre. Picture this, a scandalous nude painting that shook up Melbourne back in 1883, got kicked out of the National Gallery and found a new home at Young and Jackson's. People have been falling in love with Chloe ever since, especially after a few late-night drinks. But she's not the only mysterious lady in the bar. So, imagine you're heading down the stairs, ready to hit the street, and there she is, this beautiful woman standing by a lamppost. Sounds normal, right? But her 19th century get-up gives you the chills. Delicate hands, a face like a china doll, and those downturned eyes that just draw you in. No one knows her name, and some think she might be a trick of the light. But those who've seen her swear she's real. And here's the kicker. When you get close, she looks up, and you see this horrifying open scar from ear to ear, blood everywhere, and then she just disappears. Who is she? The story goes that she might be a murdered prostitute, but the fancy clothes make people wonder. Some connect her to the old Melbourne jail, where Ned Kelly was hanged. Visitors there report all kinds of spooky stuff, but no women were hanged inside. And here's a wild thought. What if she and Chloe, the painting upstairs, have something in common? Chloe's identity was a mystery too. The artist Lefebvre said she tragically died by her own hand. Could these two women be connected in some mysterious way? Maybe they're both waiting for something. Love, revenge, who knows? The thing is, their stories are like unsolved mysteries, and we might never know the real deal. But it sure adds a fascinating twist to the history of Young and Jackson's, don't you think?
And now for another one.
Hey, have you ever heard about the Crescent Hotel and Spa in Arkansas? It's this swanky place, like the go-to spot for the rich and famous looking for a little R&R, but here's the twist. It's not just any hotel. This place is practically the VIP section of the afterlife, known as the most haunted hotel in America. So, the story goes back to 1886 when they were building this joint. There was this Irish stonemason named Michael, and sadly, he took a dive from what's now room 218. Now people chilling in that room have reported some seriously spooky stuff. Doors creaking open, slamming shut, screams from the ceiling, and even ghostly hands reaching out of the bathroom mirror. Creepy, right? But Michael's not flying solo in the ghost department. Fast forward to the 1930s, and the Crescent turns into a sketchy cancer hospital run by a so-called Dr. Norman G. Baker. This guy injected his wealthy patients with his so-called patented cure, and surprise, surprise, most of them didn't make it. Now folks say the souls of these poor patients are still lingering in the hotel's cellar, waiting for some kind of closure. There are even tales of washers and dryers doing their own thing in the middle of the night, and a nurse with a gurney making a cameo whenever she pleases. But it doesn't end there. Employees have seen Christmas trees doing a ghostly waltz down the hallway, and dining rooms magically setting themselves up or turning into a disaster zone. One waitress swears she witnessed a Victorian wedding in a mirror behind her, and a cook says he spotted a little boy in old-school gear frolicking around the kitchen. After that, pots and pans apparently went airborne above Dr. Baker's creepy cellar. Now, about room 221, guests there have reported a thin, smiling Victorian dude paying them a visit, vanishing the moment they turn around. Some speculate he's part of the ghostly couples twirling around the hotel's main salon, stuck in some eternal ball they attended when the place first opened. People accidentally walking in on this ghostly dance party have described spinning specters, and get this, a man at a table who's been waiting for the return of his dream woman for over a century. Crazy, right? And get this, the Crescent Hotel and Spa is still open for business. Although word on the street is, the last owner kicked the bucket in a mysterious car crash shortly after buying the joint. Talk about keeping the ghostly vibe alive, huh? If you're feeling brave, you can totally book a room and see if you get any unexpected guests. Just don't be surprised if things go bump in the night.
And now for another one.
Alright, buckle up, because I've got this wild story to share about Hanako-san and Kashima Reiko. Picture this, Hanako-san, a girl with a bobbed haircut rocking a little red dress. If you're feeling brave or crazy, you can summon her in the third stall of a girls' school toilet. Go to the third floor, knock 3 times, and call her name 3 times. Hanako-san, Hanako-san, Hanako-san. If she's in the mood, she'll reply with a casual, "Yes, I am." Now, here's where it gets interesting. If you're lucky, all you'll see is a creepy bloody hand. But if luck isn't on your side, that hand might just grab you and pull you straight into the toilet, leading you down to hell. Yeah, seriously. The mystery behind Hanako-san's presence is a head-scratcher. Some say she got murdered or committed suicide in a school toilet. The prevailing tale suggests she was playing hide-and-seek during a World War II air raid, got caught between hiding and seeking cover, and got blown up by a bomb. Talk about bad luck. But wait, there's more. Hanako-san's spirit supposedly haunts all girls' school toilets. Some folks think she just wants to make friends, but that theory goes out the window when there's a 3-headed lizard in the mix, ready to eat anyone invading her privacy. Japanese kids are warned not to mess with Hanako-san. Girls should steer clear of the third stall, and boys better not get too curious. And seriously, don't spend too much time on the toilet. Hanako-san might be stuck in one stall, but who knows what could happen. Now, if that's not enough to keep you out of trouble, there's Kashima Reiko, another toilet ghost. She's a teke-tek, a ghost girl without the lower half of her body, dragging herself around and making a creepy teke-teke sound. Kashima died tragically when her legs got chopped off by a moving train, and now she haunts bathroom stalls asking people where her legs are. Here's the catch. If you don't give her the right answer, she'll get revenge by taking your legs too. Some say she tears them off, others say she cuts them clean off. And get this, she might even carry a scythe just for the occasion, enjoying the gruesome sight of her victims mirroring her own half-body. To get off the hook with Kashima, tell her your legs are on the Meishin Expressway, the place where her own gruesome fate unfolded. Alternatively, you can throw in a curveball and say "Mask Death Demon" to appease her. Just don't stick around, because she's got a terrible memory and might come back to haunt you again. Remember these phrases, because they might just save your legs. Legend has it that if you hear about Kashima Reiko's tragic tale, you'll meet her in a month. Good luck, my friend, and steer clear of those haunted stalls.
And now for another one. Hey, have you heard about this crazy haunted house in Pontefract? It's like straight out of a horror movie. Number 30, East Drive. Apparently, it's got the title of housing one of the most terrifying ghosts in the UK. Yeah, you heard that right. The ghost is like a VIP in the spook world. So, back in 1966, this family moves into the place, right? And boom, all hell breaks loose. Lights playing hide and seek. Plants going airborne, cupboards doing the cha-cha, photos getting slashed. It's like paranormal chaos. The youngest daughter even claims she got dragged upstairs, kicking and screaming, with visible finger marks on her throat. Yikes. They dubbed this ghost the Black Monk, calling it a demonic poltergeist. Newspapers had a field day, and the whole town was buzzing about it. Fast forward 10 years, and this amateur historian decides to play Sherlock. Turns out, there's a Tudor monk from the 16th century who supposedly kicked the bucket around there, part of the Pontefract Priory crew. Mystery solved, right? Well, Kinda. Guess who owns the place now? Bill Bungay, a film producer. He bought it after making a horror movie about the house. Talk about taking your work home with you, literally. But here's the kicker. He hasn't spent a night there. He pays the bills, but keeps his distance. Smart move, I'd say. His friends, though. I've stayed over and experienced some mind-boggling stuff. Bill's like, yeah, it's profound and intimidating. You'd be nuts to book a night here, but hey, if you're feeling brave or maybe a little crazy, you can book a stay. Not your typical Airbnb, mind you. It's like a paranormal getaway. Some visitors report crazy things, like radiators cranking up by themselves and duvet men appearing on neighbors' beds. Creepy dolls in the front room changing positions. It's like a horror sitcom. Bill, being the responsible haunted house owner, is like, don't come if you're faint-hearted or have a heart condition. Seriously, you'd be nuts. Ghost hunters flock there, and visitors share stories online, like loud footsteps and shaking lights. It's a wild ride, but Bill's got a disclaimer. It's not your average guest house, and he recommends you don't visit, especially if you're a theoretical physicist. Weirdly enough, they get a free pass. So, would you spend a night in the spookiest spot in Pontefract? I'm thinking I'd need a lifetime supply of courage for that. And now for another one.
Picture this. Movie night, you're curled up on the couch, and the plot takes a spooky turn. Ghosts are on the scene. You brace yourself for the big reveal, wondering if it's the century-old lady haunting the house or the old farmer from the stormy barn night. But nope, it's worse. It's a child ghost. Now, child ghosts, extra creepy. England's got its own, like the radiant boy in Lincolnshire, with wide eyes and a glowing face, sometimes on horseback, sometimes just floating around. He's even been spotted at Corby Castle, the digs of Catherine Howard, beheaded by Henry VIII in 1541. Wonder if the radiant boy met a similar fate. But the US? It's the hub for ghost kiddos. Take the ghost boy of Clinton Road in New Jersey. Hangs out under a bridge, some say he fell, others say a car got him. Toss a coin at midnight, and he throws it back. Legend says the river's full of returned coins. Maybe folks were just a second off in their timing. Now, Huntsville, Alabama has dead children's playground in a cemetery surrounded by rocks and trees. Swings move on windless nights, phantom kid laughter echoes, and some claim to see kids on the jungle gym at midnight. Locals dig it, though. When it got bulldozed in 2007, they rebuilt it. Angry, bored ghost kids need a spot outdoors, right? But hold on, if you thought those were chill ghosts, meet the black-eyed children. First spotted in 2016, these creepy tots are not your ideal companions. Pale skin, eyes black as the void, they're usually found hitchhiking, begging, or worse, knocking on your door, asking to use your bathroom. They seem harmless, asking for help, but it's all a trick to get into your house or car. In Vermont, a family let in 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Our parents will be here soon, can we come in? They asked. Once inside, the wife noticed their pitch-black eyes. Moments later, the husband's nose bled, the lights blinked out, and the kids vanished. Since then, the couple's cats disappeared. Nosebleeds won't quit, and the man got hit with aggressive skin cancer. Some folks even say these black-eyed children aren't ghosts, but the devil himself. Now that's a plot twist you wouldn't want in your real-life horror story.
And now for another one.
Hold on to your horseshoes because we've got a tale about Will the Blacksmith, the dude who managed to outdevil the devil. Picture this. Will, a blacksmith with a penchant for partying and causing chaos, kicks the bucket and heads to heaven. But St. Peter, not quite ready for Will's shenanigans, sends him back to Earth for a second shot at redemption. Well, spoiler alert, it doesn't go well. Will, now worse than ever, gets hit with the ultimate punishment. No, not eternal bad karaoke, he's cursed to wander the earth forever. Now enter the devil, who probably saw Will as his spirit animal. The devil hands Will a lump of coal, thinking it's all cozy and stuff. But Will, being the crafty devil himself, has grander plans. He turns that coal into a torch and decides to play the world's worst tour guide. His bright idea, luring unsuspecting travelers to their doom. So, if you ever spot a weird glow in the distance, run the other way. It's probably Will-o'-the-Wisp, or as he's known in some places, the mischievous Jack-o'-lantern or the sly Feu Boulanger. But Will's not just a local legend, he's gone global. In Argentina, he's Luz Mala, haunting folks with ghostly lights. In Brazil, he's a serpent named Boitata, munching on dead creatures' eyeballs. Yep, you read that right. And in Sweden, he's an unbaptized man, just trying to lead travellers to water for a holy dip. Now, some think Will's torch is a treasure map. In Finland, Denmark, and Estonia, they're convinced he's the real-life GPS to buried treasures. Finns even wait for St. John's Day to start their treasure hunt, while Estonians are like, treasure? Let's go now. Irish folks? Well, it's not just rainbows. Follow Will's torch and you might hit the jackpot near the River Lagan in Northern Ireland. But beware, a monk ghost warns it's sacrilegious. So is Will still trying to one-up St. Peter? Maybe. But one thing's for sure, if you see a glowing torch and you're not into eternal wandering or eyeball-eating serpents, best look away.
And now for another one.
Okay, so get this. They say the camera never lies, but we all know it's told a fib or two, especially in the ghost department. You know, like the classic, it's just a smudge on the lens excuse. But back in 2015, Holly, a brave 12-year-old, whips out her iPhone at Hampton Court trying to snap a pic of her cousin Brooke. Nothing weird, right? Well, not until they check the photos. One of them has this tall, blue-dressed woman with flowing brown hair, chilling behind Brooke. No Photoshop, no shenanigans, just ghostly photobombing. Holly's all like, I was totally freaked out, and who can blame her? The experts are scratching their heads, throwing their hands up in confusion. No one knows what's up with this unexpected stately lady in blue. Turns out she might be the notorious Grey Lady, Dame Sybil Penn, haunting Hampton Court since way back in 1562. Legend has it, she nursed Queen Elizabeth I through smallpox and now she's still pulling pranks. But hey, Hampton Court's like a ghost party central. Jane Seymour's haunting her post-birth stomping grounds, and Catherine Howard's doing her beheaded marathon, screaming for mercy like it's an Olympic sport. And not to burst your bubble, but not everyone's lucky enough to snap a full-size ghost. Paranormal investigators are using film to track ghost orbs. Basically, little balls of light you can't see with your eyes, but catch on camera. These orbs are like the rainbow of the afterlife. White ones might mean a ghost is stuck in the wrong plane. Oops, wrong stop. Red and orange orbs, protective ghosts, giving off warm vibes. Blue orbs, maybe they're packing healing powers, and green ones, well, those might be spirits who never did the earthly gig, like ghost infants or something. But here's the kicker black orbs. Run! Seriously, evil vibes live in those shadowy suckers. You won't even see them coming, but anger one, and who knows what ghostly mischief they'll unleash in your room right now. So sleep tight and don't piss off any invisible orbs.
Thanks for joining us on this eerie adventure. If you enjoyed the chills, don't forget to subscribe. More mysteries await. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay curious.
Thank you.